Hello viewers, and welcome to this week's edition of Time with your Banker and Financial Advisor. We are still on insurance. This week we are going to look into auto insurance. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
We believe there's nothing Africa can't achieve when we're all on the same team. That's why we're right behind you, offering a full range of accounts for everyone. From EcoBank Direct and Classic accounts to Advantage and Premier Banking by EcoBank. Because there's no limit to how far you can go when you're part of our team. EcoBank, the Pan-African bank.
Welcome back. This program is brought to you by proud courtesy of EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank. With me today is Mr. Ransford Osebonso. Mr. Osebonso, you are welcome.
Thank you.
Last week was very interesting. You talked about how insurance started, and then you talked about how they had to come, the people in communities had to come together to get their houses insured against fire, flood, and then you started talking about auto. And what baffled me was the red flag that they were using to ward people running in front of the vehicles, warding people off, or drawing people's attention that there is a vehicle coming. Today, it's a whole new thing altogether. We don't have people running in front of vehicles, but people need to be aware of the dangers in getting involved in an accident, or they need to know why they have to insure their vehicles. So how did the vehicle insurance kind of started?
As I said earlier last week, it got to a point, the rate at which casualties was coming out of the usage of vehicle was increasing. So they realized that no, let's do something. So they started with what we call the Act. Before your vehicle can be used on the road, you need to have that Act. So the Act permitted you to be on the road.
Oh, okay. You should have a paper showing that you are worthy of using the road. And you are somebody who will just be cautious.
Very good.
Not anybody can just fly the road. Because people can be under influence of alcohol and a whole lot.
But the Act did not take the interests of third parties. When I say third parties, those pedestrians, people's property, those who don't have anything to do with your vehicle.
So it was basically the person driving. That's
not
all.
The person driving. You using the road. The road is for the government. Are you okay? And you've bought a vehicle and you are using the road. So you need to pay something for the government, so for the usage of the road.
So it was actually it was in the interest of the government.
Very good.
Not the car owner, the driver, or the third party.
No,
who is the third party?
The third party, let me do it this way. Very simple. The first party is the insurance company. Okay? The second party is you, the insured, the one who owns the vehicle, the one who uses the vehicle, or anyone who have the vehicle's interest at heart. So, your children, any friend of yours who in one way or the other also uses the vehicle. Assuming you are going to the office, every day you pick somebody on a lift to the vehicle. So, if the vehicle is not available, that person will also lose something. So we can classify that person even as a second party.
When he's not a contributor in the purchase of the vehicle.
No.
But he has no interest here.
Yes, he has no interest here. His interest here is that he also gets some benefits from the usage of the vehicle.
But he can't be a second party.
No. I mean, those days.
Because interest must be valid.
It is now that we've reviewed it.
You are talking about the old.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
So third parties were those who don't have anything to do with the vehicle. So the mere passerby, okay, somebody's property sitting somewhere, those were the people we classified as the third parties.
Suppose the person walking on the street is a son of the second party. Is he a third party or a second party?
As at the time of the accident, he's a son. Are you okay? But he has some interest in the vehicle. But as at that time, he was not in the vehicle. He was
So
a
you want
passerby.
to, I just want to get the full meaning. We want to break it down to the ordinary Ghanaian. So we want to know who are the second party exactly. You want to tell me that those who are sitting in the car at any point in time, they are the second party?
No, for currently.
No, previously.
Previously, yes. Not those who are sitting in the car. Anyone who has something to do with the vehicle. That's why I used your immediate family.
Or friends.
Or friends. Not friends per se, but any friend who also enjoys or benefits from the vehicle. So I use the example of anytime you are going to the office, you give somebody a lift. So what it means is that anytime that vehicle is not available,
the person
will lose something. So all those people were classified as being part of the second party.
That was before.
That's what before this review, you know.
Yeah.
It should be dynamic. That's it.
It has gone through a lot of
changes.
processes.
Yes.
Yeah.
But currently, we don't classify those people as a second party. Okay. Currently, anyone you pick in your vehicle, especially with the private vehicles, those who use their vehicles for private purposes, we call those people gratuitous passengers. They are passengers, but they are passengers who only gratify whatever you've done for them. They are grateful for what you've given them. So we call them gratuitous passengers. They don't pay for the services you've given them.
Yeah.
So those people are also now regarded as third parties.
So you're talking about other people's interest.
Yes.
Apart from the car owner.
Apart from the car owner or whoever is driving the vehicle as at that time.
So if somebody is driving the vehicle, but it's not the owner, as at the time of an accident, that person is a second party.
Yes, very good. As pertaining to Ghana here, you know, when you look at the UK law, okay, the UK law, it's a named driver. Ghana is an open drive. Anybody can drive. So in UK, if you buy a vehicle, you insure the vehicle in your name, and you are the one supposed to drive. So if you allow others to drive, you indicate it in the proposal form.
So you, that my wife can drive, my son
very good. My son can also drive. So
and
it means
then
that
my daughter can drive.
Very good.
So at a point in time, when anything happens, they will look at who
you named as being part of those who will drive.
So if those names, if the person's name is not part of what is being indicated, that means that
you void the contract.
Oh, okay.
But in our part of the world here, it's an open drive. Say anybody can drive if only the person have the permission of the car owner.
Okay.
Anybody can drive. That's why it is so. So now, as it is now, apart from whoever is driving, you are seen as the second party, or you are seen as the one having an interest in the vehicle. So if you are not the owner, what we want to know is that were you given the permission to drive
or not?
Or not. If the owner said yes, you gave you the permission to drive, so be it. Any other person you picked is a gratuitous passenger. That has to do with the private usage. When it comes to the commercial usage, for that one, anybody on board who is a fee-paying passenger is a third party.
Oh, okay. So let's look at this scenario. You have a car, you have gratuitous passengers in it, and then you have those on the streets. They are third parties. Yeah. People's properties, people's, let me say, this one, you can classify them into animals, anything.
Anything.
Including persons.
Very good.
On the street.
On the streets.
They are third parties. And the street itself is owned by the government.
Yes.
So how does this one also come in?
Before your vehicle comes on road, you need to go to the DVLA for them to ensure that your vehicle is supposed to come on the road. So you pay for that.
You pay for the usage
Very
of
good.
the road.
So that's why you do what we call the road worthiness. So your vehicle is road worthy. They've assessed it and they think that your vehicle can be on the road. They don't do that.
Mr. Oseboso will be back. Viewers, we'll be right back. This program is sponsored by EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
At EcoBank, we believe there's nothing Africa can't achieve when we're all on the same team. That's why we're right behind you, offering a full range of accounts for everyone. From EcoBank Direct and Classic accounts to Advantage and Premier Banking by EcoBank. Because there's no limit to how far you can go when you're part of our team. EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
Welcome back, viewers. This program is sponsored by EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank. We are still with Mr. Ransford Osebonso. Mr. Osebonso, it's very exciting. Yeah. When we left off, you were talking about gratuitous passengers and third parties and the usage of the road that belongs to the government. And you were saying that the government, anytime a car must come on the road, it must be
roadworthy.
It must be roadworthy.
Yep.
So now we are not talking about the person driving and whether he can drive or not. But we are looking about three things here. We are looking about the road, we are looking about the second party, we are looking about the third party. As for the insurance company, I'm not coming to that for now. But I want to look at what constitutes the essence of going to an insurance company to have your vehicle or your property insured. So if the government does not approve that your car can be on the road, that means it's a no-no.
It's a no-no. When your vehicle is not roadworthy, you don't even need to go for insurance. Because the first thing you need to get is for you to get permission to use the road. And that permit will be given by the DVLA, who assess your vehicle and say, yes, this vehicle is good enough to come onto the road. Then the second stage is to go for insurance.
But what baffles me, the person driving. I'm thinking the person should have a capacity to drive.
Yes, before you even go for a vehicle, you need to have a driver's license. Okay, you need to have a driver's license. That's what permits you to drive.
And what's the age?
The age limit is 18 years and above.
18 years and above.
Yes.
You can go for
a driver's license to drive. So once you have the driver's license, now you have the vehicle. The vehicle needs to be assessed.
So that one, DVLA, they assess the capacity of the person or to ascertain whether the person can really use the roads or not.
Very good. So DVLA is responsible for who is supposed to drive and the vehicle. How assessment of the vehicle to see whether the vehicle is good enough to be on the road.
That's the job of
the DVLA. Then after that,
so they can assess whether a person is a reckless driver or not.
That one won't come in there. No, normally before they give you the license, you go for tests. They assess you to see whether you are capable of driving or not. Currently, what they do is that after going through the driving test and they passing you, you'll be given a provisional license for you to drive for, I think, 6 months. Provisional license. So within that 6 months, they assume that you practice for within that 6 months. By then, you might have perfected, and then now they confirm your license. So before you actually become a license holder, at least you have that previous training of 6 months.
6 months.
Very good.
But they are not there. They wouldn't know whether you got access to a vehicle and you've been driving for 6 months or not. But that one is aside. It's just by the way. So these are the three parties involved. The third party, the second party, and the road. So you need to go to DVLA for them to assess whether your car is roadworthy.
After you've been given the green light to use the vehicle on the road, you have your license, then you have to come for insurance. And now you are mandated to take a compulsory third party insurance cover.
Compulsory
third party insurance cover. You know, insurance, we have three main aspects of the insurance. We have the third party, which is the minimum, and which is compulsory everywhere. And then we have third party fire and theft. And then we have comprehensive. So for you to be on the road, you need to have that minimum of third party. Here the interest is on the third party we classify, those who don't have anything to do with the vehicle. But as a result of your negligence, you might cause harm to them.
The pedestrians.
Or their property.
Yeah.
So you need to take that third party so that if you cause any damage to their property or harm to their body, then insurance can come and compensate them for what you have done.
That's the compulsory.
That's the compulsory. You see, initially, when the act was there, the third party was not there. But they realized that all the accidents were happening. Third parties were involved. Properties were involved. And nobody was compensating. The assumption was that whoever owned the vehicle was so rich enough. No, those days, yes, you need to be rich for you to.
Responsible
yes,
to pay
some compensation for whoever you've injured. Yeah. But as time went on.
But indeed, those days, if you are not rich, you can't afford
but
to buy a vehicle.
But when high purchase came in, people were buying vehicles through high purchase. Okay? So everybody was buying. It got to a point, almost every house would somebody have a vehicle.
And yet they don't have the money.
So you don't have the money
to compensate.
You don't have the money to bring somebody back, somebody you've destroyed his property. Okay?
Back to his former position.
Very good. So
but does insurance really bring people back to their former position?
Yes. We are not looking at former position in physical terms. We look at the financial aspects. So you bought a phone. You have insured the phone. The value of the phone is 1,000 Ghana cedis. Or you bought a vehicle. The value of the vehicle is 100,000 Ghana cedis. We say we'll bring you back to where you were before the accident. Meaning that we'll pay you 100,000 cedis that you have lost as a result of the accident. And nothing more.
But sometimes something less.
Oh, not really. We look at the costs of the damage. So, if the vehicle is damaged and it can be repaired, okay, and the cost of repairing is 10,000 cedis, we don't need to pay you 100,000.
What if the person decides to not to use the car again? We'll come to that, but let's go to the basics.
So now you need to
we want to bring it down to the understanding of any layperson out there.
You need to have the compulsory third party, and these are the benefits of the third party. One, whoever is driving now have a personal accident cover. Okay? A personal.
Why don't you break? You mentioned 3 of them. You have done. Are you done with the compulsory third party?
I want to explain what goes into the third party.
Third party.
Then we'll come to the third party fire and theft. And then we'll come to the comprehensive.
All right. Okay. That's okay.
So with the third party, the interest is on the third parties. Those who don't have anything to do with the vehicle or with the motor. First, let's look at what is motor first. We say motor is anything that is propelled by an engine and uses the road. That is motor.
So you want to tell me that the what Kamacho?
It's motor.
And there is another something king.
Motor king. They are all motor.
Motor king.
Yes.
They are all
motor. Once they are propelled by an engine and they use the road, they use 4 tires or 3 tires on the road. They are motor.
But horse cannot be.
So horse is not propelled by an engine. Bicycle is not propelled by an engine. This we have this truck they push. They are not propelled by an engine, so they are not motor.
But they can also injure.
They can also
injure somebody.
Very good. That's why insurance don't insure them.
So what if somebody on a motorbike hits another person, the person falls on the ground and gets him or herself?
You said what? A motorbike. It's motor.
Bicycle.
No. Bicycle should use the road the pedestrians use and not the road.
But in Ghana, you see cycles in the middle of the street.
How many of our roads have access road for those who walk?
That's an interesting
question.
So
we all use the road, just like the vehicles. We are not supposed to use the road with the vehicles. You can only use the road when you are crossing the road. You don't walk on the road.
You don't walk on the road.
No.
But we see people. It's very exciting. Viewers, we're taking a short break. We'll be right back.
We believe there's nothing Africa can't achieve when we're all on the same team. That's why we're right behind you, offering a full range of accounts for everyone. From EcoBank Direct and Classic accounts to Advantage and Premier Banking by EcoBank. Because there's no limit to how far you can go when you're part of our team. EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
Welcome back, viewers. This program is proudly sponsored by EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank. Mr. Osebonsu, it's been very exciting. I was just wondering, you raised a very interesting question that we don't have access, pedestrians don't have access to the road. But it's not everywhere in Accra. But I think what you are saying is very, very, very true. So you see cycles right in the middle of the street. And it causes, it's a form of hazard because they can just be crossing cars, vehicles in and out. And sometimes in certain areas of Accra, you see animals also in possession of
the road.
Of the road.
Yes.
So who is in charge of the road now?
That one, insurance don't come in there. That one is the maybe the Ministry of Roads and Highways. They have to see to that. Or the other institutions, those who are mandated to ensure that those animals, the municipal assemblies, district assemblies. Yes, animals are not supposed to use our roads. The roads are meant for motor.
So let's look at the motor.
Yes.
Now we're talking about cyclists using the main street instead of getting an extra road
to use.
But motorbikes, I know they are supposed to use the middle of the road by my lay thoughts or my lay thinking. How about that?
The most important thing is that they are motorbikes. They're supposed to use the road.
They are motorbike. They have an engine.
Very good.
So anything that have engine can have access
to the
road.
You have an engine. You are propelled by tires, so you have to use the road. So once they use the road,
how you use the road, that's not coming.
That's why the DVLA trains you on how to use the road. Hope you get me. The DVLA will give you the training on how to use the road. So the moment you come to the road, it's assumed that you are perfect person,
and you should be able
to use the road. Now let's come back to our third party. So with the third party insurance cover,
you've talked about the third party compulsory.
Yeah, it's compulsory. It's the basic. That's the basic. Any motor that plies the road needs to have that third party cover.
You know my worry. These motorbikes, indeed, they have rights to use the road, but sometimes they overtake on the wrong side of an ongoing vehicle, and you don't know. So I want us Ghanaians to know, because this is an educative program. Where is the motorbike, or how do we expect them to use the road? Are they using the road as if they are using the road as a vehicle, or they have other places they need to pass so that they also can't obstruct traffic?
You see, in this part of our country, I don't know how to put it, but everything is not going on well. Okay, the motorbikes, because they think they are small and they can meander their way through anyhow, they drive anyhow. So some of them, instead of they overtaking at the left-hand side, you see them overtaking at the right-hand side.
So they should also be in traffic, like
whatever regulation the normal vehicles have to observe.
Oh, they are also
very good.
They are also under that regulation.
So when the traffic light is red, they are supposed to stop.
And they are supposed to be in a queue right behind a vehicle, but not in the middle of the street or road.
You see, that's what I'm saying. Because their bikes are smaller, they think they can easily move around anyhow. Okay? And they are faster, most of them, than the vehicles. So it's better for them to use the middle of the road. You get me? The middle of the course, you the vehicle, you'll be in the middle, in between the line,
Yeah.
the border lines. So they can use where the border line is. They are okay.
But that one is also risky because, as you are saying, some of the riders are very reckless. Suppose somebody is using the zebra crossing to cross, and he has come from behind a vehicle, and they are using the middle. They can just crash at a point.
That's why you just said it, that they are reckless. Per the rules of the game, when you are getting closer to a zebra crossing and there's no traffic lights over there, you need to slow down. Once there's a zebra crossing there, it means that you are in town and you should be driving at 50 kilometers per hour. So you need to slow down. Okay? So if they also observe that same rule, such things wouldn't happen. So pedestrians can easily cross. But we are in a part of the world where
I don't like you to say we are in that part of the world.
Oh yes, everybody
because
does.
Civilization is now spreading, and it's caught up with us.
We know very well.
It's
but
caught up with us. We are more of a civilized country than most African countries.
We do to the contrary.
That is from my view, or from my perception.
It's our human nature.
Anyway, it's been very, very exciting. I hope when we call you another time, you can make room or make time to come so we can be able to finish our
I'll be glad if you can finish with this insurance, even the auto aspects to the comprehensive.
Okay, we'll find time and invite you again. Viewers, thanks for watching Time with Your Banker and Financial Advisor, sponsored by EcoBank Ghana Limited. With me here today in the studio was Mr. Ransford Osei Bonsu. Mr. Osei Bonsu, thanks for coming.
Thank you.